So I would want to get started quickly on a small exercise.
Okay. I understand I should turn on my ID, yes?
Yeah, if you wish. Can even do it in a notepad. Yeah, IntelliJ should be good.
Okay. So let's create new project. Actually, Java 12. I will not use any archetype because we are going to use just simple project. We can use, let's say, I don't know, my application. Let's create a new window. Okay. And now we have the very simple project. Actually, we does not have anything instead of Java and test classes. Now we are going to introduce some things related to the Maven. And actually we have, if I remember, first what we can do is dependency management. We can here somehow register some new libraries which are going to use. So that means if, for instance, we are going to use, let's maybe, I hope you are okay with that. I will copy some artifacts.
No issues at all. We all do that, right?
I will take, let's say,
I just want to see whether you're able to understand the various stages of your. You can even show it to me with this project. So how do you? I just want to verify if you're able to add and remove dependencies. And do you know what is the dependency tree?
yes. Let me
So what is
explain.
that?
I will. Maybe okay. So let's maybe focus on the current. Actually, it is my own project, and of course I can do that the same. But I will explain you actually step by step what is going on. Okay, so let's focus on this one. It will be more simple. Actually, I have this hierarchy of the project, so that means the main root of the project is here in this situation is shops, and this project have the inner project. So that means we have here shops AR, shops enterprise Java beans, shops web, and here is actually something that it is another component, let's say, yes. And now let's start with the root of the because each of these projects have his own POM, yes. So that means we configure how project should be done in each of the POMs. So that means this POM is correlated to this module, shops AR. This POM is connected to this shops AOB, and this POM is related to shops web. But then we have on the root state, this is the main POM, and let's go from the top. Here we have the main configuration how our project should. Let's say here we have the version of the project. Here we use the group ID, artifact ID, version of our project, type of packing, and name of our project. Then we configure modules. So that means when we are using the Maven clean install for this such project, that means the project will compile also these modules. So that means these 1, 2, 3, 4 modules. Then we have properties. Properties, it is some space where we can distribute some versions, or let's call that some variables, which we can use in next or below.
Okay, so this is fine. I see that you have an understanding on Maven. So what I want to now see is like, can you quickly show me on how do you clean and install, or how do you generate a jar in Maven?
The mostly I'm using here.
Perfect. Okay.
I'm using this tool. Of course, we can do that through the.
Okay, you can show it here. You can. I do this as well. You can do it.
Yes,
you can show
I
it.
can. Yes,
Using IntelliJ, right? Yeah.
Yes, I'm using IntelliJ to do that. Of course, we can verify what exactly a phase we wanted to achieve, because install, actually each phase have his own, let's say, distribution. Clean, that means we clean the old code, so that means the target will be cleaned. Then there is validated, compile. Here is checking if there is no problem with compilation. In test, we have the test are executed.
A question with test. Say if I want to skip test cases and I just want to run or install the application code only, how do you do that?
Yes, if you want to skip test, of course, I doing that through the IntelliJ. Here is the flag skip test, toggle test. But of course, if you wish to do via terminal, then it is possibility to, I'm not sure, it is, for instance, Maven clean install, and there is some flag, probably skip test, something like that. But yeah, but this actually add this flag, yes? So if you wanted to skip test using the terminal,
very good. I see that you worked on that. Pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. So one more question with Maven, and then maybe we can just brush over the basics of Git, and then we can go into Java and so on. Okay. So one more question. So why do you need this dependency management and plugin management? So what's the difference between a dependency and a plugin?
Yes, dependencies, actually, it is dependencies which are using in our project. Actually, if we put something to dependency management, so that not mean we are using this dependency, because to start using dependency, we have to use the dependency. Here I have plugins. Actually, this module does not have dependencies. Here we have dependencies. And now, how to explain? This module shops are need to be because we need some dependencies for this module. For instance, in this prime faces, like you see, we use the dependency with only group ID and artifact ID, and we not use the version here. And this is because actually this POM refer to the parent, and the parent, it is this main POM. And in this main POM, we have dependency management. And like you see here, we have selected the version. So that means if, for instance, I have 3 modules, and in each of the module, I would like to use the same version of prime faces, I can just put this dependency into dependency management XML, and then just use it like in this way. Yes, so that means I use here dependency for prime faces. Here I can also go here and do the same. Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Yes. Pretty good explanation. Explanation.
And
so that's clear about dependency. So what is a plugin management? So what does plugins use for?
Plugin management is a little bit pretty the same situation, but it is in correlation to the not dependency, but for the plugin. So that means sometimes is situation here, like you see, I have plugin management and plugins section. And here I have, for instance, created, it is 5 plugins. And here I have plugins management. And actually it works in the same way how dependency management works, but only in correlation to plugins. So that means here we declare our dependencies and versions, and then we use it in other modules then. And here we have the same situation. We have plugin management, and for instance, yes, let's say maybe, of course.
Why is a plugin needed? That's the question. That's the root question. Why is a plugin needed?
Yes, plugin is needed. For instance, here we have the Maven compiler plugin, yes, and it is needed for that because when we execute the Maven phase, I mean, we clean and install project, sometimes we need some extra, let's say, extra functionality which comes from the Maven. So that means we can introduce also some plugin. Actually, in this case, this plugin will compile our project with Java version of 11. So that means the compiler will compile the project in Java version of 11.
Can you explain? This is clear. So what are the other plugins you're using? So what is the compiler plugin? What is the dependency plugin? So, and what are the other plugins you're having?
Yeah, here I have Maven dependency plugin. This plugin is actually help us to manage the dependencies. So these dependencies, what we actually discussing, because sometimes, for instance, I have some it is about I'm not remember actually why I have these executions.
That's fine.
For
That's
instance,
fine.
here we have, for instance, Maven Surefire plugin. This plugin actually is responsible for executing the tests. Yes. So if you wish to actually execute in my situation, I actually use all instead of just simple test of Java, I just use the files which end with specs because I have in my project, I'm using the test written in Groovy. So that means I use Spock framework, yes? And for instance, to instruct the Maven to execute the test, not only written in just simple Java, but also written in let's say, Groovy, I have this plugin and instruct Maven, please Maven, instead of these tests which are here in Java, please execute for me also the test which is written in Groovy. And
Perfect.
here is the example of the test written in Groovy. And that's why we need a plugin, yes, Maven, because he help us to do something, yes. For instance, yeah, here
I'm clear, man. I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy with the explanation. Okay, so we can, I guess we can go into the next stage. So
Okay.
you showed me what are the life cycles that Maven has, and now you've explained the difference between dependencies and plugins as well. Okay, and one more question. So where exactly will all the dependencies that are downloaded get stored in your local machine?
Yes, it actually depends of our configuration because Maven have his own configuration. The mostly cases actually we can configure that by this. Actually, in such case, it is bundled Maven, but we can of course override this with our own version of Maven. But like you see, here is user settings. So that means in this section, we have the path to our settings. And here we have the path to the Maven local repository. And of course, we can configure on instruct Maven using these settings file. Yes, so that means where is your yeah, here and here is settings. Yes.
Perfect.
And actually this setting file we can actually, of course I don't have much here, but let's say sometimes it is required because, for instance, Maven wants to fetch the dependencies from some repository, yes, because also it is topic about how the Maven manage or he download the dependencies from Artifactory, let's say, yes, and for my situation is no problem because there is public repository and I just can download it and that's it. But sometimes in organizations, the repository are restricted. And also we have configure here and instruct Maven which credentials we should use and which password we should use, yes? For instance,
Perfect.
here I have some module, and here I provide the username and password, and then Maven, when wanted to fetch the dependencies from this resource on this Artifactory, he will know which credentials he used to authenticate. Yes.
Perfect. Perfect. Now just show me where exactly the downloads are happening. Can you show me the jars where they are located? You went to the M2 folder, right? So can you show me where exactly the dependencies are downloaded into?
Yes, they are downloaded actually here. It is our because I have configured the Maven to store Artifactory in local repository. So that means when we once again clean and install our project, and because in this phase the Maven will try to find the dependencies in our local repository. In my situation, it is this path. Yes, because I have this path configured, and this path is, like you see, the same what I have configured in IntelliJ. Of course, we can override
say for one example, say can you go to any one dependency? So for org prime
Yes.
faces, you're using version 10. Okay. So can you
Yes.
show me where exactly it will be? How will you go through the dependencies?
Okay.
Can you walk me through? Just tell
Org
from which org. Okay.
org prime faces. Prime faces.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have artifact ID prime faces here. Yes. Because here we have also prime faces extension. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I go here, and here I have the version of the prime faces. Actually, in my situation, it is version 10, because like you see, sometimes in the past, for instance,
Yeah.
in 2019, I downloaded version 6.2, but in 2021, I downloaded version 10, and then Maven will fetch the dependency from my local repository. Of course, if I delete that, then Maven
No,
will
don't. Can you show me? Can you show me the actual jar that where exactly it will be
Yes.
and whether? So 10. So that is a jar, and what is the
Yes.
pom.xml that comes associated with that? So this is what is the need for this pom.xml?
Sorry.
There is a pom file, right?
Here.
10.0.0.pom. Yeah. So what is the need for that pom.xml?
One second. Okay, this is actually this let's say POM described actually, like you see, actually this is only developer, so it is some informal things, but also this described which dependencies are used in this artifact, let's say. Yes, so that means prime faces, the version 10, not using alone, but they using also the dependencies. Actually, in this scope, the scope is provided, so that means they are not included in the jar. We should include it.
Okay, so what do you mean by a provided scope? Can you clarify more on that? What is a provided scope?
Provided scope, that means the jars are not included in this jar. So I mean, if we, let's say, the okay, let me okay, and the source of the prime faces jar looks like that. We have org, prime faces, and actually that's it. There is no more jars inside this jar. Yes, so that means we have to provide the dependencies which are here. Yes, the mostly it is done, for instance, by server application. Yes, because for instance, when I deploy my application, I use because one second.
Say Tomcat, you should be providing those jars
within
the application server or a container, right? Perfect.
Yes.
That's the answer I was expecting. Awesome. So I think I'm done with Maven. So let's quickly have a small discussion on the Git basics, okay, before we go into Java. So can I know what are the activities you perform on a daily basis? So when you're going to work on a new project, or say if you have got a bug in your project, okay, say I am another developer and I am also working on the same requirement. So how do you work on the requirement from your end? So what are the steps that you will take? Say you're coming tomorrow morning and you want to start working on the bug.
But if I understand, you wanted to know how I handle bugs, yes?
No. Like how will you get started with your workspace? So what are the things that will you be taking your latest? Just a hint. How will you be taking the latest? How will you ensure that all of the latest code is in your local branch? And then how will you rebase? Or I just want to understand what are the things that you will carry out with respect to Git or the versioning system, version control system?
Okay, so first what I would like to start, it is settings of the convention of the style code, yes? Because I think the most important when we prepare our code, it is code style in our let's say when I start working. Here I can, let's say, instruct to IntelliJ which style I would like to use to reformat or format or white spaces or enter spaces, etc., for every file which I working. So that is good when each developer in organization use the same convention of scheme code style, because then it's more easy to, let's say, verify on the code review session the changes which comes, because I can't imagine the situation one developer have when he reformat his class, one developer have indent of 2 spaces and another have indent of 4 spaces. So I think the first thing what I would like to configure in my IDE is using the code style. If it is default IDE, I'm completely okay. But if organization have his own code style, I think the most important is to import this one, yes. So we can import scheme, yes. So this is first thing. Then, like you mentioned, the working with the Git. Actually, with the Git repository, we can actually do in few ways. Actually, if I start working with the new project, I can, of course, do that through, I can clean or clone project from the repository given by organization using the IntelliJ, and mostly cases I do in such case. So that means I will prepare a new project and he'll put the new from version control, and I put the URL for the Git repository where from I will be cloned the project. Yes, of course, if there is some reasons, I can do the same using the terminal. Yes, actually, I not do that often because I have the tool like IntelliJ, and I don't have, of course, using the terminal. But if there is reason I should use terminal, of course, I find the correct command on the internet, because I don't remember every
That's
command.
perfect.
Yes.
I just want, that's perfect. I just want to see how you work, because I even use IntelliJ for getting the version control here.
So for instance, I create file, new project from version control. Here I put some URL, then I click clone, and then IntelliJ clone me the project to my desktop. So that means to my local environment, and that will be placed. Actually, in my case, I have some. Maybe it is not important, but I have the all projects is stored. In my case, here is IDEA project something. Okay, it is not important. Here, IDEA projects, yes. And here I have the all projects, which actually I have in my local computer. Sometimes when repository needs to give the credentials, I also can provide, because here will be occur the pop-up, and I can give the pop-up for the credentials. Actually, everything which is needed to working with Git is stored actually also in pretty the same way how it is in Maven.
Okay, I don't want those details. I just want to see one more thing from you. Okay, can you go to your workspace?
Yes. Okay.
Say you are working on a master branch. Okay, I see from the right hand side corner of your screen, I see that you're working on a master branch. Okay.
Yes.
So what I want you to do is, like, I want you to create a new feature branch and just make some modifications in your code.
Okay, so I can just go in new branch. I can do like that. Feature, I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4. Some implementation, I don't know, some feature branch, number of the Jira, some description. I think the most important is this. Yes, sometimes we have some prefix. Yes, because it is the number of the Jira. Yes, sometimes it looks like that. Yes. So I think the most important is to have this number, which is correlated to the Jira number. Yes.
Perfect. You can go ahead and create a branch. I have some more questions on that. Yeah.
Okay. I now create a branch. Now branch is created.
Now can you make some changes in your code? Just some changes in your Java file or anything.
Okay. Here.
Add a comment or something like that. Yeah.
I have something. So actually,
okay.
Let me maybe it is important. I'm not remembering.
So here, if I want to save this part of your code somewhere else, have you heard about the concept of stashing?
Yes, but I do that through the IntelliJ. Here I shelved it.
Yeah. Okay. Can you? So what is the difference between shelve and stash?
Stash it is done by Maven and shelf is done by IntelliJ.
So both are the same.
Yes.
So now you have shelved your changes. So I want a clean workspace. So how do you get to a clean workspace? I don't want any changes in your local.
Actually, mostly, let's say I working on something. Let's say I working on these changes. And now someone tell me, hey, Michal, we have the very important fix on the production. Please do that. Okay, so the mostly I do like that. I will shelve my changes. I will here, I can comment something. Let's say it is my ticket, CV 1, 2, 3, 4. I have to done after production bug. Then I shelve the changes. Then I have these changes here. Here is everything. And now I have clear workspace. Now I can switch to another branch, let's say.
So you're sure that you don't have any changes now, right? So now you are in the same branch. Okay.
Yes.
So now you have shell the changes. So it's more or less the same as stash. Okay. So now you know shell and you know stash. Now we have created a branch. Okay. Now can you make any changes and please commit and push your code to the remote?
Okay. So I can unshelve. Okay. Let's maybe. Okay.
Okay. You can unshelve the changes. Yeah. You can unshelve or just try to change one file because it's a production bug. You want to change only one file now.
Okay. I changed it one file here. I added this one.
No. What I want you to do now is like, can you go to the shelf?
Okay.
Can you go to the shelf? What are the files in the shelf? So attribute shared services or any file like that. Just open one file that's related to the shelf. Any file. What I want you to do is like make a change in that file. That's it. Yeah.
Okay.
So I want you to make another change here in this fresh repository. Go to attributes factory for products view and make some changes in your local now. Yeah, some changes. Add a comment or add new lines. Copy paste line number 192 to 193 again. I want a repetition of code. Just copy 192 and 193 and paste it below that again.
192 and 193. Okay.
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, just copy and paste it below. Yeah. Remove the unnecessary double quotes. Sorry, unnecessary semicolons.
Yes.
Okay, all the errors. What are the errors showing? Why are there errors now? Can you fix the errors?
Probably because some import problems.
Okay, maybe you can comment out that method for now.
I see there is some.
Okay, you need to override or implement some methods. Okay.
Probably yes, but I don't know what's happened. Maybe this version is older than this one. Yes, implement get selected value expression. Okay, let's implement. But there is still probably some changes was.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so let's maybe not. Yeah, because it can take time. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Here I
Okay.
have
So
the
now,
same. Mhm.
now I want you to commit this piece of code
Mhm.
into your branch. Commit and push it to your repo in the feature branch. Leave alone the compilation errors. You can commit and push it. You can delete this branch always.
Yes.
Just commit and push.
These changes. Yes, these.
Yeah, just commit this file and push it to your remote repo. Yeah.
Okay, commit.
Yeah.
CV123. I have to now blah blah blah. Okay, commit. Commit. It's committed, but it is not yet in remote because I committed in my local repository.
So how will you make sure that it is in your remote?
I need to push my changes. So mostly
Can you
I
do?
push. And here I push it.
Mhm.
Now the branch on the remote will be created.
Okay. And now how will you try to merge this branch to the master?
Oh, okay. So mostly I do that. The mostly cases I do that. We can do like that. But I preparing in normal way. I preparing.
No, I don't. Have you heard about pull request? Do you raise a pull request?
Yes.
Can you show me how do you do that? How will you raise a pull request from your feature branch? Or even from your Git repo, you can show it from there if you want. Okay. How will you send it for code review? So now you pushed your changes. I want you to raise a pull request.
Sorry.
You can do it from your Chrome browser as well.
Yes, I know, but I'm looking one thing. Of course, it is my own repository. And like you see here, I have the branches. Now this branch is created, feature CV1234. We can check it actually file of these branches. But mostly you asking how I prepare the merge request. Actually here I merge the request. Here I choose the where I would like to merge. Actually in our situation is master.
So that is the source the master or the target the master? So what's the difference between source and target?
Source that means the changes will be taken from
perfect. Yeah.
Will be taken from this and will be pushed to this. Yes.
Okay. So